affront to his expertise. Just a little fine-tuning, and everything would be perfect. He crossed over to the idling sled and slipped into position. He twisted the throttle into gear and ducked his head a bit as he rode into the tube. Like being swallowed by a serpent, he thought. The smooth walls flew past his head, the headlamp guiding him forward. After a minute, the sled slipped from the tunnel into the cavern where he had left Peter. Brian cut the engine. He glanced around. The cavern was empty, but a familiar scent lingered. Marijuana. "God damn it!" he exclaimed. Yanking himself from the sled, he raised his voice. "Private Wombly, get your ass back here on the double!" His words echoed off the walls. There was no answer from Peter. Searching the cavern with his lantern, Brian turned up nothing. The 2 motorcycles they had used to travel here were still in place across the cave. Where was that bastard? He marched toward the cycles. His left boot slipped in a wet patch. He flailed for a handhold on the wall and missed. With a squawk, he slammed hard on his backside. His lantern skittered across the cavern floor, finally coming to rest with the light pointed back toward him. Warm moisture seeped through the seat of his khakis. He ground his teeth together and swore. Back on his feet, Brian wiped the seat of his pants, grimacing. A certain private was going to find a foot planted 3 feet up his butt. He went to tuck in his shirt when he noticed his dripping palms. He gasped and jumped back as if he could escape from his own hands. Warm blood coated the palms. Book 1. Teamwork. 1. Chaco Canyon, New Mexico. Damned rattlers. Ashley Carter knocked trail dirt from her boots before climbing into her rusted Chevy pickup. She threw her dusty cowboy hat on the seat next to her and swiped a handkerchief across her brow. Leaning over the gearshift, she popped the glove compartment and removed the snakebite kit. With a knuckle, she tapped the radio. Static rasped from the handheld receiver. Humming, she peeled back the wrapper from the syringe and drew the usual amount of venom antiserum. By now, she could gauge it by sight. She shook the bottle. Almost empty. It was time to run into Albuquerque for more. After cleaning her skin with an alcohol swab, she jabbed the needle into her arm and winced as she administered the amber fluid. Loosening her tourniquet a notch, she wiped iodine over the 2 punctures in her forearm, then applied a bandage. Cinching her tourniquet a bit tighter, she glanced at the dashboard clock. 10 minutes, and she loosened the tourniquet again. She picked up the radio handpiece and pressed the button on its side. "Randy, come in. Over." Static as she released the button. "Randy, please pick up. Over." Her neighbor, Randy, was still on disability from a back injury at the mine. For the past 10 weeks, he had earned a few extra bucks under the table by supplying daycare for her son Jason. She started the engine and pulled back onto the parallel ruts that constituted a road. The radio belched a garbled blast of noise. Then she heard, "Up? Ashley, what's going on? We expected you back an hour ago." She raised the handpiece. "Sorry, Randy. Found a new room in the Anasazi dig, hidden by a rockfall. Had to check it out before the light went bad. But Diamondback had other ideas. I've got to check in with Doc Marshall now. Be back in about an hour. Could you pop the lasagna in the oven? Over." She hooked the receiver back on the radio. A squelch of static. "A bite? Again? This is the 4th time since Christmas. You're pressing your luck, Ash. This solo venturing is going to get you killed someday. But listen, after you get checked up by Doc Marshall, hurry home. There's some Marine types here waiting for you." She furrowed her brow. Now what did she do? She groaned and grabbed the handpiece again. "What's up? Over." "Dunno. They're playing dumb," he said, then added in a lower voice, "And they're damn good at it. Real G.I. Joes. You'd hate 'em." "Just what I need. How's Jason handling it? Over." "He's fine. Eating it up. Talking the ear off of some corporal. I think he almost got the jarhead to give him his gun." She smacked the steering wheel with the flat of her hand. "What are those bastards doing bringing guns into my home? Damn, I'll be there straight away. Hold the fort. I'm out." She never carried a gun, not even into the Badlands of New Mexico. Damned if she was going to allow some overgrown boys to bring weapons into her home. She slammed the truck in gear, her wheels clawing at loose rock. Ashley jumped from her truck, arm tucked in a blue sling, and crossed through her cacti garden, hurrying toward a group of uniformed men huddled under the small green awning over her porch, which offered the only shade for 100 yards. As she stomped up the wooden steps, the men in front backed up, except for one.